Man, welcome back to the Cruise Dynasty podcast, where it's all about the fake stuff, but it's where we win real money. This is week 4 of the gambling edition to the Cruise Dynasty podcast. If you've been listening to the pod, you know I get on solo every Thursday, and I just dish out every bet that the crew has placed for week 4, and I try to get these games out before Thursday night, even though we don't have too many bets placed for Thursday night football. I know I'm going Dallas minus 4.5. After calling them frauds all week, here I am throwing money on a bitch ass. Listen, everybody, thank you for listening to the podcast. Like we say, 5-star review, share it with a friend. Join me on the Discord, trying to build the Discord up. Go at it. Cruise Dynasty Podcast Discord channel. Got a gambling channel. NFL game day. We talking trades. We talking all things. So if you want to talk to the crew, come hang out with us. Join us on the Discord. Other than that, you can listen to us on all platforms. Just got us on iHeartRadio. We can do it all. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, a bunch of other shit I ain't ever heard of. But yeah, last week, couldn't have had a worse week fantasy-wise, but game lines and gambling, man, I'm killing this shit. And as a crew, on the game lines, we're shooting 57% from the field, which is insane. We're going to bump that up this week. We got 16 game lines locked in this week, and as far as over and unders go, we got a little bit less. We're shooting 43% from the field on over and unders. We're going to try to bump that up. We're playing a little safer this week. We got 7 over and unders total, 16 game lines, a lock of the week, and then I'm going to do a DFS lineup. I know some of y'all love some DFS. I just don't know how to talk about it on the pod too much. If you want to see our DFS lineups, come add me on Twitter at CrewmanHam. I'll drop it off. Today I'm going to talk about the poor man P. Miller's DFS, and pretty much we end the episode every week. I just read out a lineup. And what are the tips? Who are the cheap plays? Who are the stacks? Give you a couple notes, trying to win some money. So let's go ahead and get started, man. I got 16 game lines. Tonight's Thursday night football. I was the only one who placed a bet. It's Dallas minus 4.5 versus New York Giants. I've been calling them frauds all motherfucking week. But you know what? Last week I always look. See, the thing about you that y'all don't know is Matt Hammond right now looking at week 5 game lines already. I seen that Cowboys game line. It was at 7, 6.5, 6 last week. Now I caught it at 4.5. It's already been bet back up to Dallas minus 6. So if you catching that Dallas minus 6, just stay away. I ain't taking that money. I ain't playing with it. But I got them at minus 4.5. Here's my advice. This is one thing that I've noticed. I like to take a look at the lines early, but I'm starting to get to where I like to place my bets early too, before the public catches on, placing their money everywhere. Changing the odds up a little bit. I like to go on there, Tuesday morning, checking them out. I'm calling up the poor man P. Miller. I'm saying, yo, what's your punk ass up to? Give me some game lines. Hell, Phil gave me 8 game lines to go over. So like I said, Dallas minus 4.5 versus the Giants. We got Pittsburgh versus Indianapolis under 40. Listen, man, a couple of bad offenses struggling. But Pittsburgh got a good defense. Tampa Bay, money line versus Philly. Look, we've been hitting these underdog money lines all season. And listen, man, this year, we figured it out. We figured it out early. Last year, man, it was tough to figure out, man. All those unders last year, killing a motherfucker. It was unders every week. Nobody could score. This week, we didn't fall for that shit. Unders and underdogs are covering. So, like I said, Tampa Bay money line fucked up our lock of the week last week with the Broncos, but we're going to take them to beat Philly. New week, new me. We got Tennessee Pick'em versus Miami. Listen, I know the craft, man, he didn't like this one too much. Me and Phil, I'm not saying we all in, but we taking it. Tennessee, it's a Pick'em. The reason why we take a Tennessee is because, personally, I don't trust Mike McDaniel for the Dolphins to go out there and manufacture wins like you do somebody like Mike Tomlin for Pittsburgh. Got all kinds of quarterback problems up there. What's he doing? He goes up there, he grinds out some wins. I don't see that in Mike McDaniels. Like I like Mike McDaniels for fantasy football, and I get it. This dude can run a hell of an offense, and he could put up fantasy points for all of us. But they're not beating any opponents that have winning records over the past couple years, and they're not beating any opponents that are going to the playoffs. So let's just see if you can get a win versus the Titans without your starting quarterback. Washington, +3 versus Arizona, and I got the money line in play too. They are underdogs at +146 versus Arizona. This is Chris and the poor man P. Miller saying they don't like the Cardinals, I think. You know, last week I put a little money on the Cardinals, testing them out. Didn't work out. So here we are betting against them this week. And so we got Washington +3 and the money line at play. New Orleans money line versus Atlanta. That's just Kraft's punk ass beating the hater versus the Falcons. Everybody wants to hate the Falcons. I get it. But New Orleans money line is a good bet. It's a good bet because you're taking the underdog. They're slightly on the road. Those are bets that me and the poor man P. Miller, Kraft, and Chris, we've been hitting these all year. So New Orleans money line +101 versus Atlanta. We also got the over 42 points. That was Phil knocking hard on that one. Carolina +5.5 versus Cincinnati. Chris knows his Panthers, and Chris has been smashing on them Panthers like crazy. Last week he hit on 2 of them. We got 2 of them in play this week. The under, Carolina at +5.5, and then the under, Cincinnati and Carolina at 48.5 is in play. Denver, the New York Jets, under 38.5. Buffalo, money line, +101 versus Baltimore, another one. Buffalo looks like a legit. Josh Allen, legit. Everybody's like, oh, Stephon. Man, to hell with Stephon. Josh Allen looks as good as ever. Detroit, -3.5 versus Seattle. I'm a little iffy on that one. That would be one that I would disagree with on Kraft. I always stay away from 3.5 and 7.5. If I see those lines, nope, not me. I'm not taking that shit. And that's just from a gambler's perspective. Minnesota, +2.5 versus Green Bay. And listen, I'm sure Chris is the one to place this one. Yep, Chris, riding Minnesota. We discovered last week that, Minnesota is legit. They're a legit team to fuck with, and they're a legit team to place money on when you're gambling. Sam Darnold got it going on. We're balling out. I give Minnesota credit. I think this is going to be a good game this Sunday. I can't wait to watch Minnesota versus Green Bay. Chris has been riding Minnesota all year long. Green Bay, me and the poor man been riding Green Bay for a little while, but they've been underdogs the past couple of games, and here they are as favorites. Not sure about Jordan Love yet. I haven't really even paid attention to what his status is. I know they were saying he could come back last week. As long as you're winning, as long as you're manufacturing dubs, I know this is a divisional opponent. I'd roll Malik Willis out there and try to scrunch up another win. But I get it. Divisional opponent, you might want to go out there. These games are real important. You got to knock out that win. Knock him down. So if Jordan Love is healthy, he'll be back. Houston -4.5 versus Jacksonville. And the Jacksonville looks like shit. I defended T-Law for so long, but damn. I'm still not sitting here saying T-Law this and T-Law that, man. I told y'all when he went to Jacksonville that he's going to the Jaguars, bro. He's going to the Jaguars. It's like what I say when players and coaches come to the Falcons. Like, I saw Dan Quinn on Washington sideline the other day, and I was like, motherfucking Dan Quinn. And then I was thinking, this man went to the Super Bowl with the Falcons. The Falcons. Got to give Dan Quinn credit. So it's like I'm saying, Trevor Lawrence, T-Law, he's with Jacksonville. You'll be lucky to get an MVP Matt Ryan season out of him one of these years, but everybody placing the blame on T-Law. Man, you need to go look at that fucking squad. That team ain't doing shit, and they ain't doing shit for years to come, but Doug Peterson ain't shit neither. He lucking into that Super Bowl with Nick Foles. Bill Belichick's bum ass. Which gets me to the lock of the week. Locking it down. Ching, ching. Go get your money. Go pay your mortgage. Go pay your rent. Go pay your kids' tuition. Or go buy you a snack at a drink machine. Lock of the week. Underdogs. Los Angeles Rams. Money line versus the Chicago Bears. Listen, every one of us had the Rams on their docket. Underdogs, they just beat the 49ers, and I get it. They're banged up. But the Bears stink. Their ass. They wouldn't even have a win if it wasn't for Will Levis pissing me off. Bears, they stink. Their defense is good. The offense ain't clicking yet. I do think they will be good. but not right now, not this week. Rams locking it down, Stafford, getting it done. Sean McVay, you got to put trust in these organizations that can go out there and win football games. When it comes to gambling, I understand when you're in fantasy, I want to go get all the players on the Miami Dolphins. I want to go get all the players on the Cardinals. When it comes to gambling, I'm betting on the Steelers. I'm betting on the Packers. Give me the fucking Rams. Let's move on, man. Over and unders. Listen, man, I told you. I say it on the pod. I said it earlier, weeks 1 and 2. If we don't like a line, we're not sharing it out there for y'all. Tons of game lines we liked. A lot of over and unders. Wasn't too impressed with the over and under list. I got a list of 7 over and unders for your ass. And we going to place them into the descriptions. Place them on Twitter. Check out the gambling chat on Discord. And got my little girl in here checking out my gambling. What's up, little stinky? Yeah. So, like I said, we got 7 over and unders right here. And I'm going to go ahead and start it from the top. CeeDee Lamb over 0.5 touchdowns. Listen, man, I'm hitting everything hard CeeDee and Dak this week. I know it's a Thursday night game. But, listen, they've been struggling. And what I've been saying about the Cowboys is if they want to start winning, they're going to have to do what they got to do. And that is throw the ball to CeeDee and lead the league in passing. It'll be good. They'll win them some games in the regular season, and then they'll show up in the playoffs and get their ass beat. So I got CeeDee Lamb over 0.5 touchdowns. Then I got James Conner over 0.5 touchdowns. And then I got Aaron Jones over 56.5 rushing yards. Man, Aaron Jones, man, the amount of Aaron Jones and Dallas Goedert I faced last week pissing me off. But here we are. I've got Aaron Jones in my parlay. James Cook over 18.5 reception yards. And the Kraft man been hammering on that one like crazy. Riding James Cook all year. And here we are again, 18.5. I know we hit that James Cook over and under super fast last week. And almost had us some money until Brian Robinson went up there and fucked it all up. Not getting no carries. George Pickens over 50.5 receiving yards. George Pickens. Go buy low on him. I love me some Pickens. Kyren Williams under 75.5 rushing yards going against the Bears. They'll be stout. I just had them in my lock. You know, I just think the Rams are going to get away to win, but it's going to be hard for Kyren to run it. So I got him under 75.5 rushing yards. And then Jamar Chase, longest reception in week 4, over 24.5 yards. 25-yard reception or more gets you some money. So like I said, CeeDee over 0.5 touchdowns. James Conner over 0.5 touchdowns. Aaron Jones over 56.5 rushing yards. James Cook over 18.5 receiving yards. George Pickens over 50.5 reception yards. Kyren Williams under 75.5 rushing yards. And Jamar Chase, longest reception of the night, over 24.5. Easy motherfucking money. Go cash it out. I'll be gambling on Underdog, Prize Picks, Sleeper. We're looking at all these lines. Most of the game lines I look at are on either Vegas odds or MyBookie, which is overseas. Let's end the day off, though, how we always end it, with some DFS. Like I said, I read you one DFS lineup every week. And I'm going to read the poor man P. Millers this week. And it's like I said, when I play DFS with these motherfucker guys from the crew, they like to go cheap at quarterback, cheap at tight end, see if they can patch it up at defense, and then get their heavy hitters in their lineups. Justin Fields at the top. At 6,800, priced at 6,800. Then at tight end, the cheap tight end play for the poor man P. Miller, Taysom Hill. It's always a random shit show shot in the dark when you got Taysom Hill in your lineup. But if you put Taysom Hill in your lineup at your tight end spot and then he scores, you're probably winning money. But you never know what the fuck he's going to do. He's such a volatile player. And then the defense, we got Houston Texans versus the Jacksonville Jags. And Jacksonville, they've been pathetic. They've been fucking pathetic. I said it earlier in the show. Let me read off what poor man P. Miller's got. He's got, like I said, Justin Fields at quarterback. B-Rob, Brian Robinson Jr. at 7,300 at running back. And he's got Saquon. Phil said it before the year. Saquon was his RB1. balling out. Saquon, his expensive play, 9,700. Then we got Olave versus Atlanta. Christian Kirk, another cheap play. Been struggling all year, but if T-Law gets it together, Christian Kirk is a great play. Devontae Adams. And then in his flex, Aaron Jones, punk ass. Man, can't forgive Aaron Jones for kicking my ass last week. But that's all we got for you. DFS lineups, we got over and unders and hella game lines this week. Listen, man, thanks for listening to the Cruise Dynasty podcast. We've been pumping out that content all week for y'all. Not every day, but you get my gambling. We get the Cruise gambling every Thursday. And then you get some Dynasty talk, some topics, all during the week. I think me, the Craftman, and old Swizzy, maybe more. Thinking about hopping on Friday night. Got the night off. Might go grab me a brewski. Might be rolling me up a stanky. We're going to talk some Dynasty, some NFL football. But listen, everybody, thank you. Join the Discord. 5-star review. Add the podcast. Tell a friend. Add Matt Hammond on Twitter at CrewMattHam. But thanks for listening. Go make you some money. And we out.